Hey, how's it going there, Kristen?
Hello.
And we have a special guest today, don't we, at Frankenstein Tea?
Yes.
This is Ada Cardenas.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ada Cardenas and I am from Panama.
And we asked Ada to join us today because she's going to be sharing some Spanish with us. We're going to be reading
La Casa en Mango Street.
The House on Mango Street.
Oh, by Sandra Cisneros. She's the writer from Mexico, original from Mexico, but she used to live in Chicago for the many years.
And we're not entirely sure, but we think that the Spanish edition just came out in 2022. And this is a historic moment for the Aldrich Library, isn't it?
Yes. I'm not sure it's a proud moment. I'm still confused by it, but
well,
yes.
Well, I mean, we have had Spanish books here on the shelf before, so in the children's room.
Yes.
But
So we purchased this Spanish edition for this episode of Frankenstein Tea, and when we brought it into the library, there was question as to where to put it, because it was at this moment, whether there was some before or not, the first young adult or adult Spanish book in our collection.
And here we go.
And
here it is.
So it's conflicted for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and we just had a good conversation about community and are there Spanish speakers, and you know, you have Spanish books on your shelf.
Yep.
Do they check out? Are there Spanish
They do.
speakers? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we should have them throughout the building.
There are native Spanish speakers who are looking to share Spanish with their children. And
Yeah.
kind of carry on with the language.
Yeah.
And then there are also English speakers who are looking to learn Spanish and also maybe looking to learn Spanish with their children.
Yep.
So we do have a lot of other languages as well. And because we're the Catherine Patterson Children's Room, we have this wonderful collection of Catherine Patterson books in different languages.
In different languages, yeah.
Spanish and Chinese and Bosnian and so.
But we probably need more Spanish books in
I
the
think we
collection.
do.
And then maybe we would find some Spanish speakers.
Yes,
You know,
that
I
would
think,
be wonderful.
yeah, I think that's how we build community. Is we should get some Spanish books in here.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we had a conversation just before we recorded about how difficult it is sometimes to find your language community. You know.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will pull some Spanish speakers
This will help.
to the library.
That's
yeah.
right. That would be
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So before we get to that,
Yeah.
we'll do a couple of announcements. Tomorrow's Green Up Day.
Yay!
Green Up Day in Vermont. Yay!
Yay!
I'm
Very
gonna-
old Vermont tradition.
It's
Green Up
very
Day.
old.
Well, it's been around for quite a while. Yeah.
Not like hundreds of
No,
years.
no.
Yeah, okay. Vermont's probably not even been here hundreds of
Hundreds of
years.
years.
A couple hundred. I'm going to green up the library.
Fantastic.
So if anybody wants to join me, I'm going to go for those bushes out front.
Yeah, we'll
They
be.
bug me.
Wow.
They are full of trash. There are cigarettes and food. I'm going for the bushes.
We'll be
Congratulations.
cleaning
Thank you.
up the green places around the library. So if you would like to come and join us,
Yep.
please do.
Yep.
And that's going to be all day tomorrow, 10
All
to
day,
2.
10 to 2. Yeah. And then my next update is after Green Up Day. It's the concert.
Yeah.
The Christine Litchfield Memorial Concert is featuring Carol Hausner and Jonathan Doc Kaplan this year. It is tomorrow at 2 p.m. After your Green Up Day, you can come and join us for some live music, refreshments, acoustic, roots, folk, and original songs played by Vermont musicians.
Should be great.
Sounds like a great Green Up Day follow-up.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
my little update here is Milk and Cookies Night is coming up. I did talk a little bit about that last week. So this is a tradition. I'm not sure how long it's been going on, but
Hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years. It's a very old tradition. It at least predates me, so that makes it a very old tradition by my standards. But so Milk and Cookies Night, we've invited the local school principals to be our VIP readers for the evening. It's an evening story time. So younger kids are invited, usually kind of like birth to 6, 7. That's kind of the age level that we are attracting for Milk and Cookies Night here. So the kids can come here to the library and they can come in their pajamas and they get milk and cookies. They can bring their little snugglies so they're all ready for bed. Nice. And their school principal will read them their favorite story. So
That's great.
we've got Brenda Waterhouse coming from Berry City School. We've got Elizabeth Brown, who's going to be representing Berry Town School. We have Kristen Martin from the Montessori School, and we have Kate Cronin, who is, I believe, the kindergarten teacher over at St. Monica St. Michael's School, who's going to be there as well. So we've got 4 different schools represented. So and every kid goes home with a free book, which is a great deal. Yeah, and milk and cookies, of course. They get milk and cookies.
Thursday the 16th at 6 p.m.
Thursday the 16th at 6 o'clock p.m. So.
That's what our note says.
That's what our note says, yes. I wanted to make sure I didn't forget the date.
And then next Saturday is the annual Spring Fling. Biggest fundraiser the library has. We invite everyone to come. We have new music coming this year, new food, new events. We're doing this with the Barry Social Club. They've got some great activities lined up. They're going to have a great presence here. I hear this is a great night. It's been going on for hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years, there you go. Yeah. Well,
but it's my first Spring Fling.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's gonna be
I'm
really
excited.
amazing.
Yeah. I'm excited.
It is. It's a really great night. Really good food, really good entertainment, really great music, and just really great people. It's a great opportunity to socialize.
Yeah, we're gonna polish this place up and you know, roll out the tables and roll the band in, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Well, before we get to our reading, do we want to talk a little bit about Frankenstein Tea? We usually do that a little bit.
Oh, I can tell you that, yeah. So Frankenstein Tea, unbeknownst to my son, is a weekly podcast. That's an inside joke.
He might be watching.
I said to my kid today, I'm going to have a guest on my podcast, and he said to me, "You have a podcast?" So it is a weekly podcast that we produce here at the Aldrich. It's a chance for us to share literature and share stories and give you updates. We try to make it thematic, so you know we're gonna do a little Spanish here today. That kind of came from Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, which is this Sunday.
Which is Sunday, yeah. And so I had to look that up, right? Because I was like, but is Cinco de Mayo a thing, or is that like a Corona holiday? You know, everybody always says Valentine's Day is a Hallmark holiday, right?
Yes.
Like,
it is a Corona.
It is a Corona holiday.
It's a cerveza day.
It is a, but it does have serious Mexican roots.
Of course.
Oh, yeah,
it does, and I didn't know that. I really thought it was only Corona. So that's, I think they defeated the French that day.
Yeah, right. It's a battle.
Yeah, there was a battle and they defeated the French.
Right.
And I also read a little further to understand that the reason it is a little bit of a holiday for us is that there was many Mexicans already in this country.
Correct.
Yes.
And it gave them a chance to culturally identify.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that we can celebrate.
Yes.
That does feel good. Yeah.
Like everybody's Irish, you know, for
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Same thing. Same idea.
Same idea. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we picked House on Mango Street.
Yeah.
So Frankenstein Tea, that's what we're
yes.
doing. It's thematic. We do some updates, we do some literature, and then we'll just do a quick mental health check-in at the end. It's a program that's a carryover from the days of COVID, when Frankenstein is a reference to you know, what a monster of a time that was, what a monster of a disease that was, how really difficult that was to be together. We couldn't be together, so I started posting out to YouTube.
Frankenstein Tea is in the public domain, so it was something that you could
Frankenstein is in the public domain. Tea is what we have in the afternoon to sort of take a time out together and to connect to each other. And during COVID, it was a time to, you know, take a moment. And I think that moment is still important. So we carry it forward out of this library, and that's a real integral piece to how we work. As librarians, is that we are organic. Libraries are organic, right? We bend and we flex and we adapt to the needs of our community. And just having our guest here today, we've already decided there's other programs we could be doing and ways that we could support other cultures in our community and see if we can build some connection there. So that's what Frankenstein Tea is about.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, shall we get right into the reading? What do you think?
Sure.
The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros.
The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. So I'm gonna, Ian and I are gonna read in English.
And then Eda will read in Spanish. So we'll go paragraph by paragraph.
Yes.
And just a little bit of background on the book. So the book is written as a series of vignettes. So you can really kind of like pick and choose, you know, which poems you're going to read, or you can read it linearly, right from the beginning to the end. So we're going to read the first few chapters.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of both.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of both. We'll grab a couple of other vignettes as well. So, all right. So what do you
I'm going to start. The house on Mango Street. We didn't always live on Mango Street. Before that, we lived on Loomis on the 3rd floor, and before that, we lived on Keeler. Before Keeler, it was Polina, and before that, I can't remember. But what I remember most is moving a lot. Each time it seemed there'd be one more of us. By the time we got to Mango Street, we were 6. Mama, Papa, Carlos, Kiki, my sister Nenny, and me.
Now I'm going to read in Spanish. Now remember that Sandra Cisneros used to live in Chicago. So she's referring about the area in Chicago that is on that street called Mango Street. So those are the streets that she's mentioning over here in the first paragraph. So that's kind of to give you a little bit of help about where is this book taking place. La Casa en Mango Street. No siempre vivimos en Mango Street. Antes vivimos en el tercer piso de Loomis. Y antes de eso vivimos en Keller. I'm pronouncing the words, even though those are named streets in English, I'm pronouncing them the way they should be pronounced in Spanish, with the vowels in Spanish, okay? So instead of saying Keller, I'm saying Keller. Antes de Keller fue en Paulina, y antes de eso, ya no me acuerdo, pero lo que más recuerdo es que nos mudábamos mucho, y parecía que cada vez había uno más de nosotros. Para cuando llegamos a Mango Street, éramos 6, mamá, papá, Carlos, Kiki, mi hermana Neni y yo.
The house on Mango Street is ours, and we don't have to pay rent to anybody, or share the yard with the people downstairs, or be careful not to make too much noise. And there isn't a landlord banging on the ceiling with a broom. But even so, it's not the house we thought we'd get.
La casa de Mango Street es nuestra, y no tenemos que pagarle la renta a nadie, ni compartir el jardín con la gente del piso de abajo, ni tener cuidado de hacer mucho ruido, ni tampoco hay ningún casero que golpee el techo con una escoba, pero aún así no es la que esperábamos.
We had to leave the flat on Loomis quick. The water pipes broke and the landlord wouldn't fix them because the house was too old. We had to leave fast. We were using the washroom next door and carrying water over in empty milk gallons. That's why Mama and Papa looked for a house, and that's why we moved into the house on Mango Street, far away on the other side of town.
Tuvimos que salir deprisa del apartamento de Loomis. Las tuberías del agua se rompían y el casero no quería arreglarlas porque la casa era demasiado vieja. Tuvimos que salir corriendo. Teníamos que usar el baño del vecino y acarrear agua en galones de leche vacíos. Fue por eso que mamá y papá buscaron una casa y por eso nos mudamos a la casa de Mango Street, muy lejos al otro lado de la ciudad.
They always told us that one day we would move into a house, a real house that would be ours for always, so we wouldn't have to move each year. And our house would have running water and pipes that worked. And inside it would have real stairs, not hallway stairs, but stairs inside, like the houses on TV. And we'd have a basement and at least 3 washrooms, so when we took a bath, we wouldn't have to tell everybody. Our house would be white with trees around it, a great big yard, and grass growing without a fence. This was the house Papa talked about when he held a lottery ticket, and this was the house Mama dreamed up in the stories she told us before we went to bed.
Siempre nos decían que algún día nos mudaríamos y a una casa de verdad, que sería nuestra para siempre, de la que no tuviéramos que irnos cada año, y que nuestra casa tendría agua corriente y tuberías que funcionaran, y escaleras interiores de verdad, no solo en el vestíbulo del edificio, sino adentro, como en las casas que salían en la tele. Y tendríamos un sótano y por lo menos 3 cuartos de baño, para no tener que avisarles a todos cuando fuéramos a bañarnos. Nuestra casa sería blanca y estaría rodeada de árboles y de un jardín enorme, donde el césped crecería sin cerca. Esta era la casa de la que papá hablaba cuando sostenía un billete de lotería. Y era la casa con la que mamá soñaba en los cuentos que nos contaba antes de dormir.
But the house on Mango Street is not the way they told it at all. It's small and red with tight steps in front and windows so small you'd think they were holding their breath. Bricks are crumbling in places and the front door is so swollen you have to push it hard to get in. There is no front yard, only 4 little elms the city planted by the curb. Out back is a small garage for the car we don't own yet, and a small yard that looks smaller between the 2 buildings on either side. There are stairs on our house, but they're ordinary hallway stairs, and the house has only 1 washroom. Everybody has to share a bedroom. Mama and Papa, Carlos and Kiki, me and Nenny.
Pero la casa de Mango Street no se parece en nada a lo que nos contaron. Es pequeña y roja, con peldaños angostos al frente y ventanas pequeñitas que parecen contener la respiración. En algunas partes los ladrillos se desmoran y la puerta principal está tan hinchada que tienes que empujarla muy duro para poder entrar. No tiene jardín delantero, solo 4 pequeños olmos que la ciudad plantó en la banqueta. En la parte de atrás hay una cochera para el carro que aún no tenemos y un jardincito que parece aún más pequeño entre los 2 edificios a los costados. Hay escaleras en nuestra casa, pero son ordinarias, de zaguán y solo tenemos un baño. Todos tenemos que compartir las habitaciones, mamá con papá, Carlos con Kiki, yo con Neni.
Once when we were living on Loomis, a nun from my school passed by and saw me playing out front. The laundromat downstairs had been boarded up because it had been robbed 2 days before, and the owner had painted on the wood, "Yes, we're open," so as not to lose business.
Una vez, cuando vivíamos en Loomis, una monja de mi escuela pasó y me vio jugando enfrente. La lavandería de piso de abajo había sido tapiada con tablas porque acababan de robarla 2 días antes. Y el dueño había pintado sobre los tablones "Sí está abierto" para no perder clientela.
"Where do you live?" she asked.
¿Dónde vives?, me preguntó.
"There," I said, pointing up to the 3rd floor.
Ahí, le dije, y señalé al 3er piso.
"You live there?"
¿Vives ahí?
There. I had to look where she pointed. The 3rd floor, the paint peeling, wooden bars Papa had nailed on the windows so we wouldn't fall out. "You live there?" The way she said it made me feel like nothing. "There. I lived there," I nodded.
Ahí. Tuve que mirar donde ella señalaba. El 3er piso, la pintura descarapelada, los barrotes de madera que papá había puesto para que no nos cayéramos. ¿Vives ahí? La forma en que lo dijo me hizo sentir poca cosa. Ahí. Vivía ahí. Asentí.
I knew then I had to have a house, a real house, one I could point to. But this isn't it. The house on Mango Street isn't it. For the time being, Mama says. Temporary, says Papa. But I know how those things go.
En ese momento supe que debía tener una casa de verdad, una que pudiera señalar, pero esta no lo es. La casa de Mango Street no lo es. Es por mientras, dice mamá. Es temporal, dice papá, pero ya sé cómo son estas cosas.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
I thought that would be a great one to speak to people right now with the housing crisis. You know, here, well, everywhere, really, and the flooding
right?
as
this
well.
This is your
yeah.
house. This is where you live.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is the flood.
It's
yeah.
temporary as for right now.
Yeah.
But you know how these things go.
You know how that
Yeah.
goes. Yeah.
All right, so this next one is called hairs. Everybody in our family has different hair. My papa's hair is like a broom, all up in the air. And me? My hair is lazy. It never obeys barrettes or bands. Carlos's hair is thick and straight. He doesn't need to comb it. Nenny's hair is slippery, slides out of your hand. And Kiki, who's the youngest, has hair like fur.
Pelos. Todos en nuestra familia tienen pelos diferentes. El pelo de mi papá es como una escoba, todo parado. Y yo, mi pelo es flojo. Nunca obedece a las diademas ni a los broches. El pelo de Carlos es grueso y lacio. No necesita peinárselo. El de Neni es rebaloso. Se te escurre de la mano. Y el de Kiki, el más pequeño, parece pelaje.
But my mother's hair, like little rosettes, like little candy circles, all curly and pretty because she pinned it in pin curls all day. Sweet to put your nose into when she's holding you and you feel safe, is the warm smell of bread before you bake it. Is the smell when she makes room for you on her side of the bed, still warm with her skin, and you sleep near her. The rain outside falling, and Papa snoring, the rain, and my mama's hair that smells like bread.
Pero el pelo de mi madre es como rositas en botón, como rueditas de dulce, todo rizado y bonito, porque lo lleva recogido en rulos el día entero y huele rico cuando te abraza fuerte y te sientes segura. Es el mismo olor del pan antes de ser horneado. Es el mismo olor de cuando te hace sitio de a su lado de la cama, aún calientito por su piel, y te quedas dormida junto a ella, con la lluvia cayendo afuera y papá roncando, los ronquidos, la lluvia y el pelo de mamá que huele a pan.
Boys and girls. The boys and the girls live in separate worlds. The boys in their universe and we in ours. My brothers, for example, they've got plenty to say to me and Nenny inside the house, but outside they can't be seen talking to girls. Carlos and Kiki are each other's best friend, not ours.
Niños y niñas. Los niños y las niñas viven en mundos separados. Los niños en su universo y nosotras en el nuestro. Mis hermanos, por ejemplo, tienen muchas cosas que decirnos a Neni y a mí cuando estamos dentro de la casa, pero afuera nadie debe verlos hablando con niñas. Carlos y Quique son mejores amigos, pero no nuestros mejores amigos.
Nenny is too young to be my friend. She's just my sister, and that was not my fault. You don't pick your sisters, you just get them, and sometimes they come like Nenny.
Neni es demasiado pequeña para ser mi amiga. Es solo mi hermana y no es culpa mía. Una no puede escoger a sus hermanas, solo te tocan y a veces salen como Neni.
She can't play with those Vargas kids, or she'll turn out just like them. And since she comes right after me, she is my responsibility.
Ella no puede jugar con los niños Vargas, o se volverá como ellos. Y como nació justo después de mí, es mi responsabilidad.
Someday, I will have a best friend all my own. One I can tell my secrets to. One who will understand my jokes without me having to explain them. Until then, I am a red balloon, a balloon tied to an anchor.
Un día tendré mi propia mejor amiga, una a la que pueda contarle todos mis secretos. Una que entienda mis chistes, sin que tenga que explicárselos. Hasta entonces, soy un globo rojo, un globo amarrado a una ancla.
All right, so this last one is called No Speak English. Mamacita is the big mama of the man across the street, third floor front. Rachel says her name ought to be Mama Sota, but I think that's mean.
No speak English. Mamacita es la mujer inmensa del señor de enfrente. Tercer piso, dando a la calle. Rachel dice que su nombre debería ser Mamazota, pero yo creo que es cruel.
The man saved his money to bring her here. He saved and saved because she was alone with the baby boy in that country. He worked 2 jobs. He came home late and left early. Every day.
El hombre ahorró dinero para traerla aquí. Ahorró y ahorró, porque ella estaba sola con el niño en aquel país. Él tenía 2 trabajos. Volvía a casa muy tarde y se iba muy temprano, a diario.
Then one day, Mamacita and the baby boy arrived in a yellow taxi. The taxi door opened like a waiter's arm. Out stepped a tiny pink shoe, a foot soft as a rabbit's ear, then the thick ankle, a flutter of hips, fuchsia roses, and green perfume. The man had to pull her. The taxi cab driver had to push. Push, pull, push, pull, poof.
Entonces un día, Mamacita y el niño llegaron en un taxi amarillo. La puerta del taxi se abrió como el brazo de un mesero. Del interior salió un zapatito color de rosa, un pie suave como la oreja de un conejo. Luego el tobillo grueso, un aleteo de caderas, rosas, fucsia y perfume verde. El hombre tuvo que tirar de ella y el taxista tuvo que empujar. Empuja, tira, empuja, tira, puff.
All at once, she bloomed. Huge, enormous, beautiful to look at, from the salmon pink feather on the tip of her hat down to the little rosebuds of her toes. I couldn't take my eyes off her little tiny shoes.
De repente floreció, inmensa, enorme, hermosa a la vista. Desde la pluma de color rosa salmón en la punta de su sombrero, hasta los pequeños capullitos de rosa de los dedos de sus pies. Yo no podía dejar de mirar sus diminutos zapatos.
Up, up, up the stairs she went with the baby boy in a blue blanket, the man carrying her suitcases, her lavender hat boxes, a dozen boxes of satin high heels. Then we didn't see her.
Subió, subió, subió con el niño envuelto en una cobija azul. El hombre cargándole las maletas, sus sombrereras color lavanda, una docena de zapatillas de satén, y luego ya no la vimos.
Somebody said because she's too fat. Somebody because of the 3 flights of stairs. But I believe she doesn't come out because she's afraid to speak English. And maybe this is so, since she only knows 8 words. She knows to say, "He is not here," for when the landlord comes. No speak English if anybody else comes. And holy smokes! I don't know where she learned this, but I heard her say it one time and it surprised me.
Alguien dijo que porque era muy gorda. Alguien que porque los 3 pisos de escaleras, pero yo creo que no sale porque le da miedo hablar inglés. Y tal vez es porque no más conoce 8 palabras. Sabe decir, he, not here, cuando viene el casero. No speak English, si alguien más llega. Y holy smokes. No sé cómo aprendió a decir eso, pero una vez la oí y me sorprendió.
My father says when he came to this country, he ate ham and eggs for 3 months. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Ham and eggs. That was the only word he knew. He doesn't eat ham and eggs anymore.
Mi padre dice que cuando llegó a este país comió ham and eggs durante 3 meses para el desayuno, la comida y la cena. Ham and eggs. Era lo único que sabía decir, pero ahora ya no come ham and eggs nunca.
Whatever her reasons, whether she is fat or can't climb the stairs or is afraid of English, she won't come down. She sits all day by the window and plays the Spanish radio show and sings all the homesick songs about her country in a voice that sounds like a seagull.
Sean cual sean sus razones, si porque es gorda o no puede subir las escaleras, o le da miedo el inglés, nunca baja. Todo el día se sienta junto a la ventana y sintoniza la radio en el programa en español y canta todas las canciones nostálgicas de su país con una voz que suena a gaviota.
Home. Home. Home is a house in a photograph. A pink house. Pink as hollyhocks with lots of startled light. The man paints the walls of the apartment pink, but it's not the same, you know. She still sighs for her pink house, and then I think she cries. I would.
El hogar, el hogar. El hogar es una casa en una fotografía. Una casa rosa, rosa como las malvas, con montones de luz aturdida. El hombre pinta de rosa las paredes del apartamento, pero ya sabes, no es lo mismo. Ella todavía suspira por su casita rosa. Y entonces, creo, se pone a llorar. Yo lo haría.
Sometimes the man gets disgusted. He starts screaming, and you can hear it all the way down the street.
A veces el hombre se harta, se pone a gritar y se le oye hasta el otro lado de la calle.
Ay, she says. She is sad.
¡Ay!, dice ella, está triste.
Oh, he says, not again.
Oh, dice él, not again.
Cuando, cuando, cuando? She asks.
¿Cuándo, cuándo, cuándo?, pregunta ella.
Ay, care. We are home. This is home. Here I am and here I stay. Speak English. Speak English, Christ.
¡Ay, caray! Ya estamos en casa. This is home. Aquí estoy and here I stay. Speak English. Speak English. Por Dios.
Ay, mamacito. Who does not belong? Every once in a while lets out a cry, hysterical high, as if he had torn the only skinny thread that kept her alive, the only road out to that country.
¡Ay, mamacita! Que no pertenece de vez en cuando. Suelta un chillido, histérico, agudo, como si hubiera arrancado el hilo flaquito que la mantiene viva. El único camino hacia este país.
And then, to break her heart forever, the baby boy, who has begun to talk, starts to sing the Pepsi commercial he heard on TV.
Y entonces, para romperle el corazón por siempre, el nene niño, que ya empezó a hablar, se pone a cantar el comercial de Pepsi que escuchó en la tele.
No speak English, she says to the child, who is singing in the language that sounds like tin. No speak English, no speak English, and bubbles into tears. No, 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 as if she can't believe her ears.
No speak English, le dice ella al nene niño que canta en ese idioma, que suena a hojalata. No speak English, no speak English, y borbotea en lágrimas. No, 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 como si no pudiera creer lo que oye.
That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well
Well
done.
done.
Very well done.
A
Yeah.
lot of information to learn.
A big
A lot
thank
of
you
what?
to Nina.
Information to learn
Yeah.
and appreciate about other culture, but some of the things that they talk about here are also happening here in our
Oh, yeah.
country.
Yeah.
For sure.
So even though we have different cultures, everything goes around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In different cultures and different times.
Uh-huh.
We read this as
Yeah, 90s,
84?
80, I think in 80 when she
80s,
was
yeah.
living in
That's-
Chicago, yeah.
that's getting to be a
Mhm.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Oh,
yet
yeah.
it goes around.
Yes, correct.
And you're right, the different cultures and the references to the homes
Mhm.
and the temporary. What was the mamacita, mama soto?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
going to
Mama,
ask about that.
in Spanish, usually when the words end in ITA or
Mhm.
ITO, you're referring to like darling, like daddy, you know,
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
you
instead
know,
of daddy.
mommy.
Yeah.
But when you say mama sota, when it is in OTA, it's more despective. You know, it's like a,
Oh.
that kind of a person.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so
Mama sota.
that's why,
Soto.
yeah, that's why she said she's like a mama sota. It's because the lady has a different character. You know,
Mm.
the girl is expecting the mama type of behavior. You know, darling, cute, you know, loving. But this lady is so upset because she's not in her environment anymore. This is not what she expected. So
Right.
you have this idea over here, and then when reality hits, it's all the way down here. So that's going to break your heart. Therefore, you're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
And that was how, you know, it was happening.
How it was. How
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
But from a kid point of view, oh, you should be happy, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Yeah.
So that was part of the story about, you know, how the lady came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that last nail in the coffin
Yes.
is the little boy starting to speak English.
Yeah, and by the way, we don't say Pepsi, we say Pepsi.
Pessy.
Pessy.
Because the letter P, we don't make it like an explosion like you do in English. So that's one pronunciation that is completely different for Spanish speaking people.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like Pepsi.
Pessy.
Yes.
Oh, that was great. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
You know,
Anytime.
one thing that I noticed in that last piece as well, especially because we were hearing it in English and in Spanish, how much repetition she uses in that last piece.
Correct.
as
Is
well.
to emphasize the point of view.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this is really what I mean. Are you listening?
Yeah. Up, and the push,
Yeah,
pull, push.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Can you imagine trying to get out of a taxi?
Oh, yeah.
It could have been back then. No, but wait a minute. Back then was probably a Volkswagen.
Oh,
yeah, it
you
was
took a
probably a
taxi.
smaller taxi.
Because
Yeah.
you're talking
Yeah.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
And what did they use back then for taxis?
Yeah.
Were the Volkswagen
The
that it will,
Yeah.
you know, run forever in
Yeah.
a 1 gallon of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So see, that was also that. So you don't put yourself in that time period. You don't understand sometimes why things are happening or why you describe it that way.
Yeah.
So
Well, this is like about 40 years or so, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's been about 40
Well,
years.
since she wrote it, and she's probably writing about earlier
Yeah.
than
Right.
that,
Even
right?
earlier
I
than
think
that.
She was
Yeah.
only a kid.
she's
Yeah.
only a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think she's writing
Yeah,
about the
because-
70s,
60s.
Yeah,
60s,
because
Yes.
she was in elementary school.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's when she's making all those references.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that could be 50s,
Yeah.
Yeah.
50s, 60s. Yeah.
I was trying to look up what year was she born in. I couldn't see it in the front of the book. I mean, we're gonna have to Google that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to Google that.
I remember reading this. I think I was telling you I read this in 8th grade, and it was a lot of fun. And then as an assignment, we all wrote vignettes actually about our own family
Oh.
and our own lives as well.
No,
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It says 1980. She's talking about 1980s.
Oh, she's talking about
1980s.
1980s.
Mhm, Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's when she's having all these experiences, you know, since then. Because the culture says that usually with your parents until you get married. And that's, you know, our culture. Here is you're 18,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, you're young, come on now. Okay?
Yeah.
So her father wants her to stay home
Yeah.
and live with the family. She wants to do it the way they do it here. You know, I have
Yeah.
to get out of here. So that's why she wrote this book. Because, you know, I want to get out of here. I want to be in the real world with a really house, you know, that
Yeah.
looks the way I'm picturing it.
Yeah.
Not the
Yeah,
way
'cause
my
I'm in
father-
America, you
yeah.
prob- you
well,
know.
my father would say, this is what you're going to have. And then when they move, it was not the way he painted it. No,
Yeah.
we only here temporarily. We're going to move. And she says, we're going to do the same thing again. It's not going to be the way he explains it
Yeah.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
he describes it.
Yeah.
There's that
So,
real push-pull between the culture
Correct.
of the homeland
Mhm.
and then our country.
Right,
as well.
and you are simulating, so you're thinking, more this way, when
Yep.
he's thinking the old way.
Mm,
So
mm,
all those issues are also going on,
yeah.
Yeah, this is a great book.
Uh-huh. And in here in Barrie will be the Italians.
Yeah, yep, that's
You
right.
have,
the
you have the
Italians.
Italians, you have the French,
Yeah.
that came from Canada.
Yeah.
So you have also that also probably back then, in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
That
There's the heyday of the granite industry.
yeah, correct. You had all those things that she's talking about. The same thing probably happened here also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you leave your homeland and move to a different country, different language, different culture.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
You're
Ada.
welcome.
And
Thank you.
that book will be on the shelf, so if you would like
Somewhere.
to check it out, yeah, I will. Yeah.
If we can find a spot
We'll find
for our
For our
growing
brand
budding,
new bilingual section.
for our bilingual Spanish
There you
section.
go.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. It is a historic moment.
Yeah.
It really is.
So thank you.
Bravo.
Bravo! Thank you, Ada
Yeah.
You're
Cardenas.
welcome.
Thank you.
Anytime.
We might have to do that again.
I think we're gonna have to do that.
I know.
Ada, we're
It's
gonna have to
lovely-
have you
it's
back
lovely
again.
to hear you read.
It is.
You,
It
she
really
was
is.
worried about people. You were lovely. That was.
Thank you. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
no.
I found myself pulling out little words and vocabulary words out from the.
Wasn't that fun that
yeah,
we
it was
could
a lot
follow
of fun.
Which is what we do downstairs.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Downstairs.
with the little ones.
Yeah,
yes, with
yeah,
the younger
yeah.
learners. Yes. Yeah.
Well, one quick thing before we stop recording, we like to do a little mental health check-in here at Frankenstein Tea, and we were handed this by Nancy Pope. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
She is the chair of the Aldrich Library Board of Trustees, and she is a Frankenstein Tea watcher, and she thought this might be fun to share, and we do too. So, simple ways to have a peaceful moment. Close your eyes and just breathe for 2 minutes. Leave your phone in another room for 1 hour. Watch a cloud form and then dissolve. Stand in the sunshine and notice how it warms your skin. Light a candle and watch the flame dance. Some ways to just take a time out today and extend your Frankenstein tea moment into your afternoon and into your weekend. We hope you have a great weekend. We hope we see you for Green Up Day and the concert tomorrow afternoon, and Spring Fling next weekend, and Milk and Cookies after that. Milk and Cookies?
Milk and cookies.
Milk and
Yeah,
Cookies
yeah.
after that.
And apparently May is a mental health awareness month, so
Yes,
this is
that's
perfect
right.
for this
Yes.
is Frankenstein Tea month.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe my kid will even watch.
Maybe. We're getting a lot of mileage out of that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get that.
There's always hope.
There's always hope.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, until next week, everyone, stay safe
Keep reading.
and enjoy the sunshine and the
Enjoy
beautiful
the
weather.
sunshine. And thanks again.
Adios.
Thanks again. Adios.